What is up, guys? Welcome back to another live session. Today is October 25th, 2019, and this may be some of your first sessions with us, or maybe even just your first one. We did have a free session this past Monday, and so this is the basic format of our sessions. Monday is our first free session of the week where we just kind of get an idea for the markets and what kind of setups we can take. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is when we start entering specific trades, looking for specific trade setups, and really using our price action strategy. And then Friday, which is today, which is our second free session of the week, is where we come in and we talk a bit about the trades we took, and more importantly, the trades we didn't take, and how the week went, and just look forward to trades that we can take next week. So today's gonna be a longer session than Monday because there's a lot to cover, and I'm sure many of you will be watching on YouTube, and so if you do have any questions during the session and you want to ask them on YouTube, make sure you do, and I'll try to get back to them as the live session goes on, and that way everyone can kind of get an idea of how this whole thing is supposed to work.
A new visitor.
Oops. And yeah, so this week we took a few trades, and thankfully they all did what we expected them to do. Some trades were carry over for last week. For example, our Euro NSD short, which we're looking at here, and other trades we took in the midweek, and it was a pretty quiet week. Yeah, as in there wasn't too much movement. But nonetheless, we still had a great trading week, and so we're gonna get started. I think people are moving in, getting onto the live. Yeah, I think we're good to go. So the first trade we took, last Friday basically, was a Euro NSD short, and what happened with this trade was, at Friday's close, we were somewhere around here, at our first line of significance, 1.74364, and then we got the full take profit on Monday. So we got the remaining 70 or 80 pips that we're missing out on, and so that was a nice way to start off the week with not taking anything extra. We already had stops at entry, so it was a risk-free trade. And if you're wondering why we took the trade, it goes back to our price action strategy, which I'll explain bit by bit through this video. But to point it simply, we trade ranges, we trade supply and demand, trend lines, and channels. So what we had for Euro NSD on the 4-hour or even on the daily, if we go to the daily, you can see on the daily, this blue resistance region is our area of interest, and we drew this region, I believe, in July. So when we started in July, we had this session up, and since that time, we had a spike here, we had a spike here, and after those two spikes, we've kind of formed a resistance. And after this downpour, we kind of knew what's going to happen. The next time we come up to this area of resistance, we are more than likely to go down low, right? And that's our range fill method. We trade ranges because price is usually magnetized to these levels, right? They have their levels of significance. So the next time we were up here, we saw price did try to make its way all the way down here, but if you look, price still moved a respectable amount of pips to our first intraday hourly support right here. And so that's the theory behind it, is that if we don't get the full price movement, let me measure this out. So if we don't get this full movement here, what we could bank on is us getting a movement from here to here at least, and that's over 188 pips. No one's going to complain about that in a trade. And usually, if your final target's here, when most traders get into 180 pips of profit, us included, we usually take some profits off the table and move our stops to entry. So in case price does flick back up, we don't get in any trouble. It's risk free. So that's the theory we go on. And if we look, the next time we came up to resistance, What we waited for is more confirmation to go lower. We don't just sell at resistance and buy at support. We wait for key levels to get knocked off on the smaller time frame. And what I mean by that is, if you see this blue line right here, represented by the horizontal array at 1.75 thousand, you can see on the smaller time frame it has acted as a minor resistance for the pair. And so when we got that closure below, like you see here, it was confirmed for us to go short. And this overall trade, from that very small, basic principle with very minor moving parts, brought us over 130 pips, and that was a great way to start the session. And on the flip side, in these live sessions, I tell you guys when to enter a trade, and if that criteria is not met, you don't enter it. And because our strategy is so simple yet effective, there's not too many moving parts, so you can know, it's very binary. So did the criteria to enter happen? Yes, enter the trade. If it didn't, do not. And so your NSD is a perfect example. If you joined on Monday's session, you'd recall that I did want to go short again on your NSD after a final take profit was hit, but we did not get that opportunity because if you go on the 4 hour, we can see on Monday when we created this previous low and we rebounded, for us to go short, I drew this horizontal array, and what I meant by that is, if we get a nice bearish closure below that horizontal array, it's going to be more than likely not that we're going to go lower. And if you look at what price did, it did not do any of that. And what it actually did was close back above a important trend line. And in that case, you may be looking to go maybe long. But if you look at the overall price action, creating lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, the overall price structure is still bearish. So this overall trade idea that we have here is still valid. All we have to do is move it over, and the next time price comes down here and we do get that closure below 1.73, 300 area or 271, we can go short to our next key level significance. So that's one example. Euro Aussie was another trade with very similar setup, and it was actually a lot cleaner. And so here you can actually see the arrows explaining ranges, and this was from our Monday session. And so all these lines that you see, they're drawn from either the daily, weekly time frame. And so what I'm going to get someone to do is maybe on YouTube or Portal, if you want, in our chat, we do have a chat on our Portal. If you want to ask for a pair that you want me to analyze from top to bottom, suggest it in the chat now or on the YouTube chat, and I'll do a full top-down analysis with all the lines so that way you can see how I draw them. On the flip side, our education section does have courses on this, technical analysis, identifying key support resistance, trend lines, channels. So if you want to learn more, you can watch stuff there. But going back to Euro Aussie, it's very simple. We can see we have a trading range from 1.63 500 to right around 162 200. So 130 pip trading range. You can see from here to here to here to here. And when we came up here, notice we didn't get that previous rejection that we did in past instances, so we did not take that trade. What we did was, when price made a bull rally but failed to go higher, we waited for it to close back within our range, and it did so. And then the same thing, we looked for an hourly resistance level, which is by this blue line. Let me zoom in. You can see this blue thin line is our hourly resistance, and it's 1.63300. So once we got that closure below that hourly resistance, it was enough confirm for us to go short. And if you look at this trade setup and many of our trades, they're very zero drawdown trades. So we don't spend time and loss before going into profit. If you go to the 1 hour, you can see the drop was pretty clean. And here comes another theory that we use in price action, or at least in our strategy, is the break, retest, rejection method. And you will hear me say this a lot, and it may get annoying, but once you master the break, retest, rejection, the chances of you getting faked out in a trade get minimized greatly. And what I mean by this is, Let's talk about that blue hourly resistance we spoke about. What happened was we did get that closure below that line, that resistance, and what price did was in this green candle retest that resistance, and then this is a rejection candle, the bearish candle, and it's a rejection because it closed below the previous lows. You can see the furthest, this closure was 1.63167. Our rejection candle closed 1.63100 area. So that was a nice rejection, and if you look, we entered right around there, and we had zero drawdown essentially if you look at it, and we did have our final take profit hit. Another great setup that really made our Monday session pretty short and straight to the point. And if we just measure this move, 100 pips, just like that. So that's another great trade we took. And speaking of euro, we're in Euro USD shorts, which we've been eyeing, and it has finally started to go into profit, and we expect better things to happen for next week. So a similar analysis for Euro USD. Here we're going to talk about channels. So for the euro, we had a descending channel which dated back to June of this year. Right, you can see a nice clean descending channel. What had happened was in recent time, in mid-October, we actually broke out of the descending channel. And what descending channel means is prices is making lower highs, lower lows, going in a downward fashion. Here we got that break of that, and we actually created an ascending channel on the smaller time frame. Okay, and so what our thought process was, when we came up here, which was our previous swing high at 1.11600, we can look to the left. If we got to close above, break, retest, rejection, great, we're going higher to our next level of significance, 1.12500. Looking to the left, we can see a lot of wicks in that area, and it's a nice cycle level to target. So we didn't get that idea, so we looked for the reverse setup, and that was a short, as depicted by our arrow here. And so to go short, similar thought process again. We look for a second confirm, and that's our hourly sort of resistance area for this pair, and that's our next swing high, which was 1.11000. A nice psych level, and what you can see, we got a closure below that, and currently we're printing kind of like a shooting star continuation. So we're looking to go lower, and if we go to the 4-hour, we can see price is currently, this is our ascending channel we talked about. We had that break above. We didn't get that. We got that break, retest, but the rejection had to close above this previous candle, which it did not. So we went back down, and currently we're back within our channel, and right now we are closing outside of it. So if Euro USD does close outside bearish, outside of this channel, I'll be even more confident that we're going lower. We have targets of 110,000, 110,500, and all the way to 1.09900. So a pretty decent setup. We're gonna let euro drop, and we can also talk about gold. It was another setup we took this week, and it was a very similar thought process to the trades that we've taken. You can see gold has a pretty nice and clean trading range from our hourly level at 1496, from 1496 to 1479. So around 170 pips, 180 pip range, and we can see pip gain right there. Another time we came up here, this was the time we shorted. If we look, when we shorted on this week's short, we looked for another area of confluence, and that was a break of a trend line, which we drew right here. First trend line touch, second, third trend line touch, we got a break, and that's what we took, and it was around 60 pips that were gained for gold before some China news came out, and we got stopped out at entry. So another great setup, and well over 200 pips for the week. And for another setup that was great and that we're still holding is Aussie dollar. Very clean setup. Let's go to the 4-hour, and we can see why we took it. panning out on the 4 hour, we can see right where I drew this horizontal ray, 0.68757 has been a pretty nice resistance for Aussie dollar, has kept it at bay, kept it from doing any real rallies. And if you look to the left, you can see that clear price action of coming in here, consolidating, creating support down here, and we had our first set of rallies up here. And you can see we spent a lot of time at this level trying to go higher, we just didn't get it. And so this week we looked at it the same way like we do all our trades. When we came back at this area of significance, we didn't short from here. We could have, but that's not the highest probable trade. What we waited for is a closure below secondary resistance slash support. And if we zoom in to the left, we can see when Aussie dollar was struggling to go higher, it was kind of using this area of 0.68600 as support. You can see trying to go higher, support, and then Aussie dollar just gave up and just spilled. So if we move over to the left, we can see that similar story. We had that break, retest, rejection, and we went short. So pretty simple setup. I think we went as deep as 48 pips. Currently we're at around 40. Some profits are already taken. Partials, stops are at entry. So it's gonna be a risk-free. We'll hold it through the weekend. And our final target, just looking back to the left, is when we did come from this previous sell-off. We had some stalling at this level, and so this is why one of our take profits. And then we had a full push down here. So we're expecting that full move. But even if right now we have a 3.0 risk to reward ratio, let's say we get this move, right? This is still a 2.1 risk to reward trade, right? If we get the full move, obviously that's more than great. But that's the thing about trading ranges, you're gonna get some profit locked, and even if it doesn't go all the way to your range, you will still have a nice risk to reward ratio, and that's what we like to trade. So a great setup there. I think someone in the chat, Tommy, so USDCHF long, I gave a setup for that yesterday as well. I'll be checking the chat momentarily, so if you have any recommendations, let me know for pairs. And so a similar setup, and it's playing out right now. If you're in it, I think Tommy is in it. Congrats, because I do expect it to go higher. But very simple technicals again. So let's look at the 1 hour, and I give all these setups step-by-step entry to go long or short. And in yesterday's session, I said when price was, I think, somewhere here, I said if we get a rejection, you can short it, and if you shorted it, you could have had a nice intraday gain of around 30 pips. But the long setup is the one I gave, because since we're shorting Euro USD, we want to buy USD CHF since they're inverses. So for the long setup, what we wanted was a bearish closure above our trend line. And if you look at these closures, although they're green bullish candles by default, they aren't bullish trend changing type of candles. They're not going to scream at you telling you, okay, we have a momentum shift. But a candle like this one, which is a nice fat bearish candle, bullish candle, is indicating us going higher. And so we're having that move go down, play out, and we have stops right below our previous support region. That way we don't get momentarily stopped out, because we could very well come back down here to support one more time, then blast off. So yeah, USD CHF pretty clean technical, as you can see on the daily. The move right now is up with the first target of 0.99460, and then obviously we can go higher somewhere around these highs right here. So I'll put that down for Tommy just so you can see. The next take profit for you, Tommy, would be 0.99800, and then to end off the trade, 1.00200. So pretty good setup there. And all it was 6 trade setups for this week. We had Euro Yen, which I think got stopped out at entry earlier in the week, but we got caught around 130 pips here. So it was a pretty quiet week, but we made the best of it. 0 losing trades, and we really stuck to our gun. And it's a nice thing to know that We're currently holding trades in profit with stops at entry that we can carry over to next week. So even if Monday's a slow day, we still have trades that we're in that can bring us more profits. We even do Bitcoin, and a lot of our technique and price action works for crypto as well. So Bitcoin, I remember way back, let's see the date here, in the start of October, someone asked my thoughts on Bitcoin, and this was before all these trades that we took on Bitcoin short. Our deal was short, and it was a very simple, similar concept. Trading range between two levels, 8,500 to right around 7,700. You can see the trading range right here. And what Bitcoin did on the daily time frame was a fake out, so it closed above this level. Many amateurs won't wait for that retest rejection to go higher. So a lot of people said, oh my god, Bitcoin's going to recover, let's go long. They got burnt because a bearish candle came in, closed back within our range. And on the 4 hour, what we did was we drew a trend line. So our first touch is here, our second touch is here, our third touch is here. We waited for the break of a trend line, another retest of our resistance, and we went short. So and if you look at our short idea, it went pretty much to our take profit to the T, before consolidating and then spilling out more. And this week, when Bitcoin made its next push down, I did give guys in the paid sessions and even the free sessions an idea to go short again. And if you look, the criteria once again is very simple. It either happened or it didn't happen. And if we go on the daily, you can see this level that I drew, 7,413. If you go to the 4 hour, I told everyone, if you want to catch the next part of the Bitcoin short to 6,000 or 6,500, we want a bearish closure below. Okay, we've created support here, a lot of wicks, but we've not gotten a bearish closure, a fat bearish candle to signify we're going lower. And because that did not happen, our short play was out of the question. And you can see Bitcoin has recovered some ground, coming back to its previous support of 7,750. So a very simple price action rules that we have, not too many working parts. And if you look on the daily, we can see what could possibly happen next. Our previous support, and Bitcoin is coming back up to retest it. It can do two things. It could reject and we can go short, and it can reject, it can come back down here, we can get that vital closure below that level we spoke of and then go short. On the flip side, it can come back up here, close bullish, and then fill out this trading range from here to here. So hopefully this is starting to make sense to you guys. I'm just going to check the chat. I think we're good here. So yeah, a nice clean week, not too much drama other than Brexit, which I think will be handled probably this weekend. But apparently Brexit is put on hold, so that October 31st deadline may not be reached. So just a word of caution there. If you're expecting for Bitcoin to melt out of the sky, pound to melt out of the sky because of Brexit, it may be on hold for now. So I think this is a good point to end off today's session. I just want to remind you guys a few things before I let you go. One of them is our trading room, which is our portal. Okay, to sign up for a free membership, if you're watching on YouTube, it's very simple. Just go to forexlens.com/forex-trading-room and click up sign up for a free membership. It takes literally a minute to fill out the form. So once you do that, you'll get an email sent with login details, and you put them on forexlens.com/portal. Pretty simple, pretty easy to use, and we have a lot of tools you can use. We have charts from TradingView that you can use and analyze while we go live. We have our signals, so you can get all my signals for free, even as a free user. You can't get the rest of our guides, that's a paid feature. And yeah, so you'll get our Monday and Friday session as a free user. If you like today's session, if you want to start learning while you earn, if you're tired of relying on signals and you want to be your own shot caller, the trading room is your one-stop shop to get that done. especially that chat feature. We had a nice, very good discussions this week, and people chatting with themselves. You can see, and I attend to every question. So if you ever have a question during a session or even after, just drop it here below. And I can get back to it the next session. So that's the best way to learn while you earn, because when you become a trading room member, you do get all of our signals included. Okay, so all our signals are included. It's just included in it, and you can get it on Telegram, the signals, and as well as on the portal. So yeah, and if you're looking to maybe get 25% off your first month of a trading room membership, just use the coupon code 25 off, the word off, so 25 O capital F capital F, so 25 capital O capital F, and use that at checkout. So I'm RP Forex. I am going to be logging off now. I will see you guys again on Monday for another free session, where we'll have a general market insight session. And I think that's a good place to end off. I think Firefox browser just paused on me. Okay, actually we're good. And actually before we go, even though we're holding trades for next week, I'll do a few analysis on trades that we can enter next week. Maybe one more trade. We can look at gold, because I do see some possibility in gold for going long. So we'll look at gold once more and just end it off there. So you can see gold has made quite some movement in the recent time, and in particular it has broke out of a major trend line. You can see we kind of had this channel, right, and we had our first, second, third touch. We kind of broke out, and if you look where it has wicked at 15.14, and it has done that in the past here, and here. So what we want is what we had happen here. If you look, when gold made a push to 1530 area, we had a closure above this 1514 area, and when we got that closure, that retest with this bearish candle, and that rejection with this bullish candle, and we had a nice 200 pip move. And so that's what we're going to be looking for gold. On the flip side, we could just go short again using our trading range idea, because we do have a trading range from right where we're at, 1509 to 1489. Hope that is clear to you guys. Let me show it to you guys like this. We do have this trading range that we could target. So last night I was looking for longs because we were up here, but since then we got squeezed down. So we could have a short to 1489, and that's that's a nice 20 pips away. 200 pips away. So that could be a trade for next week. Obviously, right now it's Friday. The markets will close in over 5 hours. We don't want to enter a trade we don't have to. But that's what we're looking for. So the original idea was, when we were up here we could go long, but we got squeezed down. We're kind of printing a shooting star. So gold shorts for next week is on the table, and that makes perfect sense because we're short on Euro USD and Aussie dollar, so we're backing on USD strength. So I think now is a good time to end it off. Keep it nice and sweet. Monday we can pick up again in case anything changes on the charts. So last thing, if you want to use that 25% off, you can just type in 25 off at checkout. When you go here, and not the free membership, but when you go on forexlens.com/forex-trading-room, get full access. You click here, and when you fill out this form, right, and you click next, at checkout you will have an option to put the coupon code and just put 25 off. And just a quick reminder, on our portal you can watch all our past live sessions. So you go live sessions, you go to past, and here are all our live sessions for the week. So in case you did miss the live session, no harm, no foul. You can watch it at your own leisure, and they're usually posted 1 hour after we go live. So just another benefit of the trading room, and why we think it's It's the new innovative service for traders looking to become actually their own trader and become profitable. So I'm RP Forex. I am logging off. I think this was a great session. I'm glad you guys were able to see it and get an experience of it. If you're still unsure, you can join on Monday and make a decision then. But I'll see you guys all then on our portal at 11 a.m. Eastern for another live session. I'm RP Forex. I'm logging off. Take care and have a great weekend.